Hi YouTube. My name is Marquita Hayward, and I briefly want to touch on a topic that I'm seeing a lot about, which is kids being away from their fathers or their mothers because of the other parents, either bitterness or not getting their way. For me, it hits home because I have a son whose father does not attempt to even see him. Although he does pay child support, for me personally, I would prefer his time over his money. My son doesn't miss a beat because I have a wonderful husband who does and has been there since day one. Um, so for my son, it doesn't really affect him at this point in time because he has that placement with someone else. For many kids, a lot of parents, mothers typically tend to keep the kid away from the father because of how they may feel or if they've moved on or not. I personally believe that you're going to move on and you're going to have your child around the person you've moved on with. So what is the issue with the father doing the same thing? Not only that, you feel as if, oh, I don't like her now because she's with him, and sometimes y'all don't even have a reason not to like the other person. Vice versa as men as well. You have some men that, oh, I don't want my son around this man or such and such. But yet and still, you'll have your son around, your kid, daughter, whoever around, whichever woman that you're with, which is unfair to the other parent, basically saying that you can't live your life. I'm going to hinder you from doing that because I'm feeling some type of way. Now, for me, for those parents, man or woman that are out there keeping their kids away from the other parent, I think you're just as bad as the parent that doesn't want to be involved at all. Because typically, when you think you're hurting the other person, you're really hurting the kid, and the resentment will come later on. I don't care how hard, as a parent, you say, well, I do this, I do that, I work hard, I take care of my kid, I do this, I do that. But at the end of the day, the truth has to come out. And you have so many parents that, especially women, I'm not going to say men don't do it, but I see a lot of women that will keep their kid away from the father and then bash the father and say that he's a deadbeat or he's this or he's that to make yourself look good or feel good. But you're not telling the story of yourself keeping him away from that child. And I think it's sad and pathetic that a lot of parents do it. And then you have those parents that just don't want to be involved, men and women all together. I think that it's sad when you have those that are out there that want to have kids that can't have kids. And then you have those that can have kids that don't want to be that parent that they are supposed to be when they lay down and create these beautiful babies. If I told my son's father straight up that all I ask for is consistency. If you're not going to be consistent, then I'm fine with that. But make that decision and live with that decision. I guess he felt as if he wasn't going to be consistent, so he stayed away. And you know what? A lot of people were mad. Are you mad at him? Yeah, it is. No, I'm not mad. You know why? Because if anything, I thank him for being honest and knowing that he wasn't going to be consistent as he needed to be and just stay away, rather than jumping in and out of my son's life and thinking it's okay. Because this isn't Jack in the Box. You don't pop in and pop out when you want to. It just doesn't work that way, because guess what? You hurt those kids when you do that. And I'm okay with you making that decision. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to bash you for doing it. We all go through things in life that causes us to do certain things that we probably normally wouldn't do. And some come around and some don't. But at the end of the day, I think as parents, we have to say what's best for the child, not what's best for me. Now, for you parents that keep your kids away from the father or mother, based off how you feel. Oh, well, I feel that this, or I feel this, or feel that way. It's not based off about how you feel, especially when the parent is willing and wanting to be in that child's life. And do everything and give the love and support that the child needs. You just as low as a parent that doesn't want to be there. I feel that you should not use your child as a pawn. Yes, true enough, it may hurt the other parent who wants to be there and be in their child's life. But at the end of the day, you're hurting the child more than anything. And regardless if you say, oh, my child isn't hurting, yes, your child is hurting. They hurt very well, much so. They understand more than we think that they understand. And if you can't see that, then that's on you. All these women, oh, I'm a woman, I can't raise a man. But then when you have a man there, a father there that wants to help raise his child, and because y'all are no longer together, or you dislike the woman that he's with, you feel the need to say, oh, my baby can't come around, or my baby's not going to have anything to do with you. How is that fair to the child that you said a woman can't raise a man, or I can't raise this boy to be a man? But when you have a willing man and father that's there, willing to give you the support, the help that you need to raise this young man to be a man, and you won't give it to him. I think we all should stop and look back and say, what would we want? If we were a child, would we have liked our parents to keep us away from our parents? Or if they did keep you away from your parents, from your other parent that you wanted to be around and you loved no matter what, how did you feel? One thing I've learned is a child is not born saying my mom or dad is sorry or trifling or don't love me or this or that. They're taught that. That's something that they are taught. And we as parents have to understand that that's not how you do your kids. You don't teach your kids to, because basically what you're doing is teaching them to disrespect the other parent. That's what you're teaching them to do, which isn't fair. One thing I know, my son's father can come in today or tomorrow and decide that this is what he want to be, just this consistent parent. I refuse to allow my son to be disrespectful in any way, because at the end of the day, that is still his biological father. Now, will there be some things that have to be repaired? Of course, with him and his son. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to teach my child to be disrespectful to any adult. I don't want him to be disrespectful to me. So if I don't want him to be disrespectful to me, I most definitely don't want him to be disrespectful to anyone else, because that's a reflection of me and who I am and what I'm raising. I know it's going to be some mistakes that I make as a parent, but that still doesn't give me the right to dictate how the next parent should be able to be involved in their child's life. And a lot of you parents out there that are doing it, you need to sit down and have a real long look in the mirror and tell yourself that you're wrong for the stuff that you're doing when it comes down to these children and keeping them away from their parents, men and women. I'm not saying that it's just one-sided, because it goes both ways, because I've seen some single dads that go through it as well. And sometimes, yes, financially, it's good to have finances to help raise the child. To be honest with you, 9 times out of 10, those kids don't remember anything that you've bought them, but they'll remember the times and things that you've done with them. Oh, you remember when we went here and we did this? They remember that. They don't know if it costs or not. They grow out of stuff that you buy. That type of stuff doesn't bother kids. Yes, they get excited when they see certain stuff. Oh, I got something new. But let me tell you something. In 1 or 2 days, it's something else is got their attention. Parents, we have to do better when it comes down to these children and how we conduct ourselves as parents. We have to be more co-parents than anything. And like I said once before, I have, and then some of y'all have your dads and your grandparents that are there that can help. But one thing I know is they didn't help you make that baby. So if you have a parent that's willing and wanting to be there for their kids, please allow them and stop letting your family members and your friends tell you crazy for letting your child do this and let your child go there and see their dad and their daddy side of the family, or to go see their mom and their mama side of the family. That's what they supposed to do. Misery loves company. Don't let y'all keep y'all family and friends out of that drama and that mess that y'all have going on, because that's who gonna keep up most of the confusion. And guess what? They gonna gas you up while you sitting here bashing this parent and doing all this. And 9 times out of 10, half of them ain't help you do nothing. Because all they doing is, when you saying what you saying, going to talk to the next person, say what they say there, and the next person and the next person. We have to be mindful that these are children, and they feel just like we do. Our children see no wrong in what we do, whether they are not. They're gonna love us regardless. Parents, we have to make better decisions on making sure that we keep these kids involved with their other parents, especially when it's necessary, and especially when the other parent is willing and wanting to be there. Stop making it about you. It's not always about you. Sometimes you have to put your selfish ways aside and think for the greater good. You can always say, "Oh, well, I'm doing this for my baby. What's best for my baby?" What's best for your baby is not being bitter at the other parent and keeping them away from. That's not what's best for the baby. That's what's best for you. Y'all got to sit down and really think about the stuff that y'all do, because in the long run, it will be a problem. And while your child is growing up thinking that their parent don't love them or don't want to be around them, and that's not, and sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes it's you. And y'all need to be honest with y'all children as to why their parents are not around. Sometimes they're not around. Sometimes, like I explained to my son, he asked me one time before about his biological father. And I told him, I said, "Sweetie, let me tell you something. Sometimes people do things that others might not agree with. Or they may not be right. But we can't judge them based off of that. Because you're not going to do everything right, and I'm not going to do everything right. And it's going to be some stuff that people don't approve of that you do, and it's going to be some stuff that people don't approve of that I do. But we still have to live our life and respect others for the choices and the decisions that they make. Continue to pray for them and pray for better days and pray for peace of their mind in whatever situation it is they go through. And we leave it at that. My son he ain't never heard me call his daddy any type of name. He don't hear me bring it up. He don't hear me talk about him. None of that. Because it's irrelevant to the child. It has nothing to do with the child. He ain't do nothing to that child. It just didn't work between us. And it's fine. That is perfectly fine. But at the end of the day, parents, you have to understand that you have to do better when it comes down to your children. You just have to. That's the only way that we're going to build a better generation of children, a better generation of teenagers, a better generation of young adults to become mature adults and to live better lives, and to just have the better society and a better community within our Black community all together. I'm not saying other communities don't, but in the Black community, this is the only one of the ways that we can build it to become stronger, because we're raising a bunch of kids that feel entitled, that feel like you owe them something because of the bashfulness of the other parent or how you do it, or the way things are going. And that's just not the way the world is. That is not what it is. We owe everything to ourselves, and that's how we have to teach our kids. And they'll one day get it. They'll one day have children of their own. And one thing which you don't want is that cycle to continue. Sometimes as parents, we only do what we know. But when you know better, you'll do better. See, some stuff you know is wrong because you seen your parents do it and you feel like it was wrong that they did it. But then you back down and you do it too. So when are you going to break the cycle? Somebody has to break the cycle. And why not start with you and your children? Break the cycle, and that way you don't have these issues as they come. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy. I'm not going to say the child is still not going to ask questions. I'm not going to say the child isn't still going to be resentful. But at that point, you've done what you needed to do to make sure that they can have the least amount of effect as possible as they grow older. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Parents, do better. Let these other parents be involved that want to be involved, that want to be there. Show the kids that y'all can at least do it for them. So that they can be happy with both parents. Y'all don't have to be together to make it work for the kids. Shit, a lot of people ain't gonna be together. It just don't work like that. But you still have to be able to let that child see that, okay, hey, my parents love me. They're not always fighting. My mama ain't always mad at my dad, and my dad ain't always mad at my mama. And y'all stop talking y'all business in front of y'all children or to y'all children about the other parent. That ain't got nothing to do with them. Stop doing it. You keep that to yourself. That's all that matters. The kids are going to love each one of y'all regardless. Y'all can do no wrong in these kids' eyes. They're going to always love you no matter what. Peace, love, and God bless.